Sometimes, history doesn't start with a speech of war, like Donald Trump's recent address to the 5 main areas, or a missile launch in the South China Sea not long ago, which showed China's impatience. People are used to that kind of thing. But this time, history starts with a 10-second drone clip that freaked out half the people across the Taiwan Strait, for better or worse. Hi everyone, welcome back to Difference Frames the World, a channel that offers unique coverage of world affairs every day. Today, we continue the topic of the Chinese mainland's Justice Mission 2025 military drill. We uploaded a video about the sudden military exercise, titled 9 Kilometers from War, China's Justice Mission 2025, and the Taiwan Strait Countdown. Viewers can follow the link in the pinned comments to watch it. This time, we start with the 10-second drone clip, a blurry short video from the Chinese state-run television. On December 29, Beijing's CCTV aired a short video. Just 10 seconds in length. In it, you could see Taipei 101, a bit hazy thanks to Taipei's legendary smog, and the Taipei Dome, and more scarily and crucially, an aircraft flying through the frame. That was it. 10 seconds. No explosions. No dramatic music. And yet, within minutes, the Taiwan Strait turned into the world's largest online detective convention. Everyone on the internet becomes Sherlock Holmes. First, people thought the plane in the short video was the Chinese drone itself. Taiwanese netizens immediately cried foul, saying it was fake, AI-generated, or merely footage from a security camera in Taipei that the mainlanders hacked. Their logic was simple. If a Chinese drone can film Taipei 101 so clearly, that means it's already basically over our living rooms. That can't be real, right? The Chinese mainland's netizens fired back. Nope. Totally real. We're already doing patrols near Taipei. The PLA stealth drones can enter Taiwan without being detected. Even Taiwan's so-called defense authorities stepped in and tried to calm everyone down, suggesting the footage might be AI-generated, and even if it were real, the drone would still be outside the 24 nautical mile zone. Which, of course, convinced exactly no one. Then came the real internet frenzy. People started measuring the height of Taipei 101, its distance to the Taipei Dome, the flight path of the plane, and the position of the Tamsui River ferry. Yes. The ferry. Why the ferry matters, then? That ferry only starts running after 7 in the morning. And what showed up clearly in the clip China later released? The ferry. Conclusion from the internet jury. The footage was filmed after 7, on the morning of December 29, likely from 10 or 20 kilometers offshore, somewhere near the mouth of the Tamsui River. It raised a very uncomfortable question. If the drone was filming Taipei before the military exercise officially started, isn't that basically an unannounced action? The PLA said it would conduct a drill in 2 hours before the drill started. Here's the timeline that really set people off. At 7, Beijing announced a major military exercise on the way. At 9, the exercise began. On the same morning, the drone footage that showed Taipei 101 went viral. By international standards, it's almost no warning at all. Normally, military drills are announced 72 hours in advance because civilian ships need to reroute, airlines need to adjust flight paths, and nobody wants to get blown up while doing their own business without accidentally offending the military. This time, it is like a real battle with no declaration of war. 5 restricted zones appeared almost overnight. Taiwan saw Beijing's warships were merely 9 kilometers away, and interestingly, the Taiwanese soldiers did not fire the first shot as Taiwan's top military leader had previously promised. The Chinese do not kill Chinese, and the Taiwanese are Chinese. So the Taiwanese do not kill the Chinese. Logically, it is flawless. China officially called it Justice Mission 2025, and the objectives sounded familiar. Air and sea patrols, blockade drills, precision strikes, and comprehensive control. But the map told a very different story. For the first time, multiple exercise zones crossed Taiwan's so-called 12 nautical mile territorial waters, came as close as 4.7 nautical miles from Taiwan's coastline, and included the Taiwanese-administered islands such as Ban Chao Islet. That's no longer a gray zone. For Beijing, Taiwan is its red line no one should cross, including the US and Japan. For the Chinese military, Taiwan has no red lines that it cannot cross. Every inch of Taiwan's land and waters belongs to China. And that is it. The Chinese army is in Taiwan, inside Taiwan itself. There is no such thing as a 12 nautical mile territorial water red line. The practical impact was immediate. Ports in Keelung, Taipei, Taichung, and Kaohsiung are affected. Flights between Taiwan, Kinmen, and Matsu are cancelled. Air routes were squeezed down to 3 narrow corridors. Shipping is disrupted across the strait. In short, the island felt very boxed in. Chinese military commentators openly said the quiet part out loud. Taiwan imports over 90% of its energy. As we said in the previous video, 97% of Taiwan's natural gas is imported. Cut the shipping lanes and the island doesn't just slow down, it suffocates. On December 30th, things escalated. China's rocket force launched 27 live rockets. 17 were fired toward the waters near Keelung, and the rest toward the waters near Tainan. Those weren't cheap fireworks. They were PCL-191 long-range rockets with a range of up to 300 kilometers. Rough math. About 1 million renminbi per rocket, that's roughly 27 million renminbi burned in one day to celebrate the new year. A very expensive light show. The firing pattern wasn't random either. Rockets were launched on crossing trajectories, sending a very clear message. Every inch of Taiwan is within range. Even the targets hinted at symbolism, simulating strikes on HIMARS-type mobile launchers in direct response to Washington's recent $11 billion worth of arms sales to the island. Then came the part many people missed. China deployed Type 075 amphibious assault ships, essentially mini aircraft carriers, off Taiwan's eastern coast. Why does that matter? Taiwan's east coast is mountainous and hosts key air bases, such as Hualien and Taitung, which have long been considered hard to invade. This drill said, "Don't assume we'll only come from the west." That message may have been louder than the rockets. It also said that the Chinese mainland's more advanced 076 drone carrier is available for real attacks if war breaks out. Taiwan is too small for Beijing to use it yet. At sea, things got tense. A Chinese Type 052D destroyer faced off with Taiwan's Chengkung-class frigate near the restricted zone. At one point, Taiwan reportedly used fire control radar, the last step before missile launch. Radio exchanges got spicy. Both sides accused the other of provocation. No shots were fired, but it was close enough to make everyone's palms sweat. There was also a bonus, a historical irony here. Taiwan's ship is called Ban Chao, and Beijing's ship is called Urumqi. That's like reenacting ancient frontier history in the Han Dynasty with modern missiles. Ban Chao never fought in Urumqi in history, but symbolically, the pairing is powerful. Ban Chao represents Han China's westward expansion, while Urumqi stands for the western regions in modern terms. Together they evoke the idea of imperial authority confronting the frontier. In modern Chinese discourse, Ban Chao is often used as a symbol of historical legitimacy, strong central control, and the long-standing link between Xinjiang and the Chinese central government. The Ban Chao-Urumqi pairing triggers deep historical associations of center versus periphery and reinforces a core state logic that has lasted for 2 millennia: control the frontier, or risk losing the empire. Taiwan is China's frontier. In the drill, there was also the quiet but serious move of China's Coast Guard. Beijing's Coast Guard vessels entered restricted waters near Taiwan's outlying islands, including Dongyin and Wuqiu. That's significant because Coast Guard actions blur military and civilian boundaries, normalizing the presence without firing shots and quietly challenging sovereignty. It wasn't loud. It was deliberate. So what was this drill all about? 3 big drivers stand out. First, U.S. arms sales to Taiwan. Taiwan just approved its largest ever arms package, an $11 billion purchase from the US, including massive HIMARS acquisitions. Beijing sees this as crossing a red line. Second, the Japan factor. Sonai Takaichi's statements, such as Taiwan's security is Japan's life-threatening crisis, did not go unnoticed in Beijing. It is like a pressure cooker or a microwave, waiting for another nuke to heat the food more thoroughly. Third, testing the US. With Trump planning a 2026 visit to China, in 100 days, Beijing likely calculated that Washington wouldn't want a crisis right now. That gamble has paid off. Donald Trump is indifferent or numb. He does not care much about Taiwan. Taiwan is China's Taiwan, not America's. Why bother?
Well, I have a great relationship with President Xi, and he hasn't told me anything about it. I certainly have seen it, but he hasn't told me anything about it, and I don't believe he's going to be doing it. We've been doing naval exercises for 20 years in that area. Now people take it a little bit differently, but in fact, larger than they're doing right now.
It was not just another drill. It was faster, closer, louder, and more like a real war. The message wasn't about war tomorrow. The message was, these waters are ours, these skies are ours, so get used to us being here with you anytime necessary. And all of it started with 10 seconds of blurry drone footage. It is blurry, but the implication is clear.